Hey guys, welcome to my little paintbrush. I'm Miss Sarah, and today we're going to be painting this adorable little elephant in a pumpkin. I hope you have as much fun as me today. Remember, as we are painting together, we're learning together, and we all create differently. So be kind to yourself and let's have fun, okay? So today I'm going to use a couple of brushes, a large flat, medium flat, and a detail or line brush. You can use any flat for this, okay? You don't have to use exactly what I have, but these are my favorite. Let's start with a large flat brush if you have it. It fills our space pretty quickly. So let's get started. Our pumpkin with our elephant here is going to go on first. This is going to help warm up our muscles. And believe it or not, we start off with yellow. We're going to paint our whole pumpkin yellow first. So let's go ahead and do that. Get right into it. If you didn't rinse your brush first in water, do that because we need a little bit of water with our acrylic paint. Our acrylic paint gets really thirsty and needs some water. So rinse your brush and then load it with yellow and start going up and down on your pumpkin. You see, I'm not painting side to side. I'm painting up and down. Okay, we want to try and do the best we can with that brush stroke, just so that all of those fun grains in our, I went out of the lines there. We're not going to stress about that, right? Because we'll cover it later, so that's okay. Now we want to keep going up and down though with our brush stroke. That's going to give us those pumpkin grains that are so fun. Okay, so here we go. Create that smile right here under our pumpkin, or not our pumpkin, at the top of our pumpkin right here, under our elephant, right? Create that smile shape. Okay, I'm working pretty fast because we don't need to spend a lot of time doing the yellow. Just not something we need to spend a lot of time doing. We have a lot of other things to do, huh? So you're gonna notice there's a little opening right here next to our pumpkin, okay? I want you to go ahead and paint that yellow too. That's going to be the inside of our pumpkin. Okay. So we're just going to fill that in. It's right there next to our ear. Bring it around to match our pumpkin. You can see that the inside is going to stay yellow. Right? All right, perfect. We're going to do the same thing with our hat. With our pumpkin cap up here, right? This cute little elephant's just popping out saying hello, and he has the top of the pumpkin on his head, or her head, depending on what you're painting. Okay, so let's go ahead and just paint that yellow too, and we're going to paint right along the edge there. Go ahead and fill that in. Looks like a smile, huh? Creating that smile shape at the top of the head. There we go. So we have all of our yellow in. Okay, now we're not going to rinse our brush. We're going to leave that yellow on our brush. And now we'll pick up some orange. So let's grab some orange here. Just like that. Okay, let's paint right over that yellow. And see how I'm going up and down? Still going up and down. Filling in my pumpkin. And you can kind of see that yellow peeking through our orange. That's what we want. We want that to happen. That gives us all the shades, all those fun shades. Okay, right here, we don't want to paint all the way up. Okay, want to keep that separate because that is the inside of our pumpkin right there. And it's not orange. We're going to keep it yellow unless you just really want it orange. Then go right ahead and paint it. I'm going to keep mine yellow. Okay, so we're just going to go up and down, all the way across there. Just keeping our brush moving. Filling in the edge where our little pumpkin meets our elephant. Up and down. Okay, just like that. Perfect. So now you should be able to see some yellow peeking through. If you can, isn't that fun? You naturally have that pumpkin grain all the way around, right? Oh, I don't want that much yellow. I want to keep it pretty orange. If you get a lot of yellow, that's okay too. I just didn't want that much. So I'm going to put more orange over it. All right, now that that's done, I'm going to let it dry for a minute and go up to my hat and do the same thing. But this time, I want to try not to paint inside the yellow right here. Okay, we're going to try not to do that. And that could be, what in the world? Looks like Miss Sarah picked up some black. We don't want to do that yet. We're going to add black, but not yet. I'm going to wipe it off and rinse my brush. If that ever happens to you, you don't want to keep painting. You want to stop, rinse our brush, okay, and reload. Goodness. We are dripping. Okay, so now let's go right across the top here. We're just going to cover that black with some white real quick, and we'll go back over it in a minute. If that ever happens to you, just stop and rinse your brush, right? And then paint again and add a little white to it, and it'll cover it up nicely. Okay, so we're going to fill the top here. As soon as that dries, I will add more orange and cover that. All right, so now we have our little top hat done, our little pumpkin cap. And let's let it dry a minute. I'm gonna rinse my brush again. Okay, now we want to come back to our pumpkin here. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm pulled nice and tight there so I don't have a little lump showing up. Just make sure your little pumpkin is dry. A little dry. Okay, so now I'm going to grab some red on the very corner of my brush like this. If you want to use a line brush, okay, to do the outlining, you can do that. I'm going to do, it's called floating, and it's where we just follow the outside of our pumpkin with red on a bigger brush. If you want to use this line brush to do that, you can just outline your pumpkin. It works just as great. It's super awesome too. But I'm going to go ahead and follow the outside edge with my red. Okay, face the red along the outside edge of your pumpkin, just like that. And we're going to go along each of our curves here with our pumpkin. So each of our smiles. Just like that. Just follow them all the way around. You'll start to see them. It starts to stand out, huh? Can't go wrong with our pumpkin because there's so many different layers and shading and shadows and little grooves. I love painting pumpkins. They're just so fun because of that. Okay. Go right along, blend it in. Like I said, if you want to go ahead and take a detail brush or a line brush and just outline it, that works too. Okay. Just doing our edges. blending it in. Just letting that red show up, huh? Like that. Now if you want your pumpkin redder, you just keep adding that red, huh? If you want it to stay pretty orange, try not to add too much red, but you can go back and put yellow in to bring your orange back if you feel like it's getting too red. So if I put like that yellow right over the top there, see, it just brings my orange back. Like that. Keep your brush moving. And we're going to come through and outline it in a minute and break all that up. So there's our pumpkin, it's all done. Let's go up and do our little hat now. Do the same thing. So I'm going to outline our hat with red. This little pumpkin cap, I just think is so cute. Outline it with red, and see, I'm going to go right over where that black was and get it out of there, huh? Just paint right over it. Okay. Now for this pumpkin up top, we're going to add red right down the middle so it looks like a triangle. See that? I add some yellow so you can see it better. Okay, so it looks like a triangle right down the middle. So here's a good amount of red so you can see it. We're gonna go right down the middle with the red. Up and down. Do the same over here. So it looks like you have 3 different triangles on our pumpkin hat, all filled in, right? If you want it more orange, just add that yellow in there. If you feel like your red is taking over. All right, let's let that dry a second. Now I'm going to start my elephant. Now the trick with this elephant is we're going to do a couple of shades, okay? Because it's super important that you don't lose your elephant's nose. That nose gets a little tricky. So as we're painting our elephant, let's remember to keep our nose there, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so we have a little bit of white here and black. So I've laid it out here on my plate. I'm going to take my large flat here and just mix a touch of black with some white. Just like this. I'm going to make a gray color. So let's just mix a touch of black. And you can, this is where you decide what color you want your elephant. Okay? The more black you add, the darker your elephant will be, and it'll get dark really fast. Okay, so let's go ahead and start putting in that elephant color. I'm just gonna fill it in for the first layer. And when you mix your colors, the fun thing with this is you're gonna get different shades as you brush it on there, right? Just naturally get different shades. Makes it kind of fun. Now as I'm getting closer to my nose, I don't want to lose my lines, okay? I want to be able to see my outline so I know where that nose goes. So I'm going to paint next to my line, but I'm not painting over my line, right? So you gotta be really careful with that. You want to just paint up next to it, but not over it. And remember, we're going to add a black outline in a minute to that. Okay. and around my eyes. So I'm being really careful to just paint around it so I can see where it goes. So let's keep painting around our hat here. If you need to use a smaller brush, go for it. It's all a matter of preference on your brush and what size you want to use for this. If you want to use a smaller one to go around these little ears, that's great. Go for it. Don't forget to do the bottom part of his ear over here. And you can wrap your canvas and go all the way around if you want to right there. Okay. There we go. So I can still see the outline for my nose. I don't want to lose that. Now, if you do lose it, it's okay. You can just take a pencil or something and trace it back in. Or if you're brave, you can just go for it and paint it in yourself. But I'm going to try and just go around my nose so I can see it there. Paint all the way up to my pumpkin. Should be dry enough for you to do that. Okay. Now my nose is a lot lighter than the rest of my pumpkin, so I'm going to add some more white to my brush. Okay, so let's go ahead and mix some more white with our gray on our brush to paint our nose. It just kind of stands out because it's sitting out there in the light, so it's a lot lighter than the rest of our elephant. And I'm brushing up with the nose. Okay, and right between the eyes, I'm going to make a rainbow shape with my brush. See how it's lighter? And you can just see it curving right there. Want to make sure our nose stays a little bit lighter than the rest. Just like that. Okay, now if you want to add some shading to your elephant, I want you to add a little bit of dark gray to the corner of your brush. So I'm putting some dark gray or black on the corner of my brush. It's just on the corner though. It's not the whole thing, it's just the corner, okay? And we can add a little shadow here, right underneath our pumpkin cap. Just back and forth. Okay, I'll add some right around the ear. I like to start pretty light just so I can take it away if I don't like it. But you can add some and see how I'm following my cheek and my ear with that darker shade. Just like that. We're also going to do some outlining, so if you don't want to take the time to add this shadow, you don't have to do that. This is just an option if you want to add some detail to your elephant. Sometimes it's fun to add the little details that just make it pop a little more. And it helps our little cap here look like it's standing out. I'm going to put a little shadow there under my nose. And again, you're going to outline this. So this isn't something you have to do. You can just leave it or keep painting while Miss Sarah does this. All right, so I'm going to go around my ear and this side of my cheek too. Just remember to keep the dark along the outside edge. Cute. Okay, now I'm going to do the same under the chin. I put a little bit of that dark gray on the corner of my brush again, and I just went under the chin to make it look like we have a little bit of shadow there under the chin and the nose. Right? We have our ear over here, so make sure it's a good color too. Can't forget this part. It's easy to miss when it's over here on the corner all on its lonesome. Make sure we add a little bit of shading there too, so it matches. Perfect. Okay, now I'm keeping the nose light, right? Keeping it light. Just make sure you have it all covered, just the way you like it. There we go. Perfect. Okay, let's rinse our brush. We have our elephant in there. Let's make our ear color. Okay, I'm going to make a little pink by taking a touch of red, just a touch of red here, and mixing it with my white. The more red you add, the brighter pink it'll be. So you can decide how light or dark you want that pink to be. If you want it really light, keep adding the white to it. If you want it darker or more of a hot pink, then you can add more red to it. Let's just fill in our ear, the inside of our ear here. Go ahead and do this side too. Just filling it all in. There we go. Now once you have it filled in, you can outline the edges with red, or do just like we did on our pumpkin and put some red on the corner of your brush. Okay, and float that red along the edges. Like that. Really helps our ears to pop a little bit, right? You can follow it all the way around. Just like to follow it around and make sure all of my edges are filled in. Okay, let's do our other one. Base that red on the outside edge and follow it around. Remember, you can take your detail brush and just outline it too. If you have a smaller brush and you just want to paint the edges red, you can do that. Blending in the rest of my paint here, keeping my edges a little darker. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're gonna let it dry a second. Rinse in my brush. Really good. Perfect. Okay, while our elephant and our pumpkin are drying, let's put our background in. It's just gonna let it sit for a second, and then we'll be able to do all of our finish work. Okay, so I've rinsed my big brush really good. I'm gonna put a turquoise on my background. And to make our turquoise, we need a little bit of phthalo green mixed with some white. Just gonna mix here, just a little bit. See how just a touch of my green made that super dark, super fast? So you just wanna use a tiny bit at a time. Okay, and let's go ahead and paint in our background. If you want it darker, you can make it darker. For sure. You can kind of decide how dark or light you want that to be. We're going to be really careful to go around our elephant so carefully. Now the reason we put our background in after we put our image in is so that you can come and cover up anything that may be bugging you. If you accidentally went out of the lines, you can just paint right over it. That's the fun thing with acrylics. It's super easy to go back and cover it up if you don't love it. So we're just going to fill this in. Reach up and paint the top of your canvas and the bottom of your canvas and the sides. Make sure all of that is done just the way you like. There we go. Let's do this side too. This corner is easy to miss it, huh? Because it's over here all by itself. So you want to make sure you paint that too. And then if you want to switch brushes to paint over here inside, close to his little nose, snout, is that what we call it? Then you can switch. I just use the very tippy toe of my brush to do it. That's where it's like your brush is standing on its tippy toes. And you can paint smaller areas with it. Okay, we have our background in. Let's rinse our brush. Now we're going to paint our elephant's eyes. Okay, so I have my small little brush now. It's our line brush. I'm going to put it in my black, just like this. We're going to come right over here to our eyes. And if you can't see your eyes anymore, if you've lost them in your paint, that happens sometimes, it's okay. You can just come to the corner of your nose, elephant's nose here, and paint a circle or an oval shape. And we love to see what our artists do. Sometimes we see eyelashes, sometimes winky eyes. You can create any kind of eye you want here on your elephant to make it your own. Okay, got these cute little eyes on here. Circles can be really tricky, so just be patient with yourself as you do it. Filling in the lines can be a little tricky. So we have our eyes on there. Now we need to add some eyebrows to give our elephant some personality. So we're going to come right here above our eye and press. There's one little eyebrow. And come over. So we're going to try and even it up there. But they're not going to be exactly the same. That's okay. That's what gives them personality. So there's our little eyebrows. All right, now we're going to go ahead and put in our nose, and this will help you see it a little better. So let's go ahead and outline. Okay, our nose. You can start from right here in this corner and bring it up. Follow your little line there. Okay. We start from here. Ran out of paint on that one. You don't want to smear your black either. It's super easy to do that. Okay. Follow your nose around. You can use black or you can use gray. I'm using black, so so you can see it really well. Just going to outline that nose. Now with this area right here, we're going to come around, okay? You're going to add a little curl. So we're going to come down and up, and just a little curl, just like that. Just a little loopy curl. Okay, and then you'll come back up and around the top. Now if you need to pause and re-watch that, you can. You just want to add that little curl. And there's your cute nose. Okay, so now let's go ahead and outline your elephant. Let that nose dry a minute. We're just going to outline our elephant. I'm going to add a little more black to that so you can see it. Put these cute little cheeks on there. And I'm using a dark gray to outline, mostly black on this one. Some of our artists like to just do black. I think that's great. You do you. Just going to outline it all the way around our ear. Takes a little bit of concentration. Sometimes you have to slow down. To get all of those curves. Let's go ahead and do the top part. I don't go all the way around on this side because your canvas is right there on the edge. You can keep following it around if you want to. I just let my brush fade out over there on that corner. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up this side. Usually I'm holding my canvas to do all these little curves. So if you want to hold your canvas, if that makes it easier, go for it. Sometimes it really does make it easier. The top here, don't want to forget the top. We'll wait just a minute though until our eyes are totally dry so we don't smear them. The ear here comes up and around. Awesome. All right, let's let that elephant dry a second. We're going to go ahead and use black to outline our pumpkin. So let's take this black and just go right along the edge here. Keep going. You should be all warmed up now that you've done your elephant. You should be all warmed up and ready. Let's add the black here. Okay, so we can kind of come around here and let it fade out, or you can outline it all the way down. That's up to you. But we want to fill each area as we come along our pumpkin, each little groove there. So you can come all the way down like this on it and around. or you can kind of stop halfway. Do that one, and then we'll follow this one around too. All the way down. Okay. This one all the way around. I just kind of let that one fade out. And then right along the edge here, right off your canvas. Like that. Isn't that cute? Once you outline it, you can really see it, huh? Let's go ahead and do our hat now too. So your eyes should be dry enough that you won't smear it. I'm gonna go ahead and curve up with our black. And some of our younger artists may not want to do this outlining. That's okay. They don't need to. If they want to though, we love to see them try and see what they can do. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and finish that off. See how I'm just filling in my triangles now? And now right here, you're going to curve it to match all the way across. So add that little smile. If you get a thick line like me, it's just because of the brush pressure. Just depends on how hard you're pressing with that brush. All right, so let's see if we can make this smile here. I'm gonna go all the way across and create a smile. Ooh. That is tricky to do. The goal is to go across without picking up that brush. And that's really tricky. All right, perfect guys. All right, let's add a little bit to the nose right here with our gray. So I'm gonna come right here, right in between our two lines and create that rainbow shape, just like that, just to show that it's curved, right? I'm gonna do 3 of them, one there, and then one in the middle, just like that. So cute. All right, I'm rinsing my brush. We're gonna let that dry and add, I'm gonna get a small brush. We want to paint our stem up here. So our stem is yellow and green mixed. So our yellow and phthalo green. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of white to it too, just so it goes on real well. Okay, now mix those colors until you love the color. And then let's go right up here to the top and just paint in your stem with that green. Just like that. Perfect. Let's take a detail or line brush now, put some green on it. We're gonna add this fun swirly vine going right off our canvas. You can add as many loop-de-loops as you want to this, okay? But I'm just gonna start right here in the corner, and we're going to come right out, loop it around. It's one of my favorite parts. And right off our canvas, just like that. Isn't that fun? Come right up, loop it, and back down. Perfect. Got some black on my finger. It's okay. All right, there's our vine. Okay, so let that vine sit for just a minute. Let's take our flat brush again, or a detail brush. You choose on this, okay? And I'm going to put some white on it, just like that. And while that vine is drying, we're gonna add highlight to our pumpkin. So some of our younger ones use a detail brush to just put a little bit of light, because floating very lightly like this can be a little tricky to learn. But we love to see if they can pull off a little bit of it. They can try it. But we just want to put some light. So put white on the corner of your brush, of a flat brush, okay? And brush it in. Choose a side where the light is touching your orange, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing right along the top of our ears, on each side. I'm going to try that. Put a little more on there. A little bit of light there. And then let's put some inner ear too, right around here. On each side. Perfect. Put some on our nose. Right along the top. So anywhere you want to see some light show up, I'm going to put some right along my yellow. Right there. And right along the top part of the inside of my pumpkin where the light might be hitting it there. Just like that. So cute. Okay, you may want to add a little bit of rosy cheek to your cute little elephant here. So just put a tiny bit of pink on your brush. I'm just going to brush it underneath his or her eyes. Just like that. If you want it a little darker, I'm going to make mine a little darker so you can see it better. Just add a little bit at a time because it will really show up fast. There it is. Just lightly brush in those cute little cheeks. Now flip your brush around. Use the back of it to get this white chocolate chip. And let's add a little sparkle to our elephant's eye. Just like that. So cute. Okay, guys. You are just about there. Your stem should be dry enough now that you can go back up there to your stem with a little bit of white on a detail brush or a little brush to add a highlight to your stem. Just brush that in right there along the edge. Put a drip on there. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit to the top of my stem. Just like that. A little bit of light there. So it really stands out. Rinse your brush. Add a little bit of black to the same brush to finish it off. We're just going to outline it like this. If you want to. I'm going to go all the way around that. And this bottom part too. Alright guys, we just completed this adorable little painting. The last thing we need to do is sign our name. So find a fun spot, use the tiniest brush you have, and put your signature. I think I'm gonna hide mine in my pumpkin over here. See if I can do it sideways. Ooh, it's tricky. Right inside my pumpkin. There it is. Super cute, you guys. Thanks for painting with me. I had such a good time. We'll see you next time. Bye.